Discrimination is the unjust treatment against someone because of their race, color, category, or disability. Only 25% of adults with mental health issues believe that people are caring and sympathetic to persons with mental illness. Through the course of many years, society has degraded the disabled for not being as intellectually efficient as they are. The segregation of those disabilities from society is morally incorrect, and when a group of people are so advanced, it should begin to be widely accepted. Being irrational and ignorant to other people for something they can't change or shouldn't be blamed for is unfair. Mentally ill people still are people. The label, derogation, and negative reputation placed on these people by society is so embarrassing to see in everyday life. This kind of discrimination is visible in the hallways at school when you see special ed kids trying to be friendly and reaching out for a high five, and you see other students avoiding them. Discriminating people who don't have the response skill to defend themselves is cowardice. Degrading other people for not conforming to society's expectations and for being different is not okay. My personal connection to this topic is I chose as an elective this semester to work with kids who have autism, and a lot of the workers whose job and who make a living to take care of these students and are supposed to be accepting, they mistreat them and they punish them in a way that is not humane at all. I saw one of the paras calling one of the students, the disabled students, devil child, and it's very shocking to see in everyday life. The solution to this issue would be to expose future generations to people with mental disabilities and teach them that it's okay to be different.
Okay, so Muslims all over the world have gotten discriminated because of their religious beliefs. Muslims get affected emotionally and mentally. There are times that people can ignore the harsh words, but not all Muslims can ignore what they're told. So then they can enter into anxiety and depression sometimes. There's a researcher called Amr, and he studied Muslim American and Arab Americans' mental health. And this is a quote from one of the articles I read, and it said that Amr and a psychologist called Joseph D. Hovey, they examined anxiety and depression rates among more than 600 adult Arab Americans in 35 states, and the majority of the study participants were Muslims.
With 30% of the U.S. population being African American, it's a big concern when I say that 30% is being conflicted with racial profiling every single day. A big problem with African American people is poverty is everywhere in their lives. 21% of that 31% is living in low poverty areas. Of that 21%, 19% of them are living in high poverty areas, meaning that they are below the bare minimum of just getting by to live. That's so concerning because in those impoverished areas, you have schools that also aren't meeting standards of which that you could be having in Kirkland or having in a normal Caucasian environment or like other ethnic except for African American people. Racial profiling is still a thing. Even though we have had an African American president, we have so many conflicting thoughts about how African Americans could be below us and all this stuff. But to that I say equality is still a thing. People are all born differently, but they're all the same person. All the same, and they are a person. With this, you have to think about how people are people, and we're just trying to get by. But with the future of African American people being hindered because of their race just seems unjust and unfair. That is why I would make a solution to propose that we would have school funding to African American based schools because their state profit is just being drained by like housing and stuff like that. And I think that if we can get the future generation out of bad and harsh situations, we can move on and have like them have a prosperous life. And with a prosperous life, I think that they would be having their basic human rights being met. Thank you, and have a nice day.